Karoline Leavitt clearly thinks that she is just the hottest thing in town. She can get away with anything. She's so slick, those machine gun lips, as Donald Trump says. But she's about to realize, perhaps the hard way, that you can't just say whatever you want without expecting to get fact checked. Take a look.
I know they were all very pleased with his speech. I was in the room, John, and it has rave reviews because the president just tells it like it is. And he came here with his America First vision on full display, talking about how the American economy is booming once again through massive deregulation, an energy boom. The president fulfilling his promise to drill, baby, drill. You look at the tax cuts he signed into law. All of these things coming together to put together a really exceptional American economy. And I think he's really inspiring a lot of leaders in Europe to take that same approach. The Green New Scam energy failed policies of Europe and mass migration are failing these great countries. And so I think the president really struck an inspirational tone with all of them today. But of course, that has yet to be seen if they will act accordingly.
Oh, she's doing North Korean propagandists proud there. She's got that, like, the combination of the smile and the dead eyes, just looking off into the distance. And she doesn't really have to be that on point. She is on Fox News. They're not gonna push back against any of that. Her claims that the economy is doing great, I think that would be a surprise to even some Fox viewers at this point. They don't believe that. They definitely, nobody thinks that Donald Trump was inspiring Europe's leaders during that speech. Nobody was giving it rave reviews. That is an insane thing to claim to believe. She definitely does not. But that said, it's funny that she's like all like hyped up at that point, as many Republicans are, about the main thrust of Trump's speech at Davos, which was that he's going to conquer Greenland or whatever, and that somehow that's good for America and for the world and for world peace. Somehow that's America first. None of that would make sense if that was what he was going to do, but it all fell apart yesterday. Donald Trump has tacoed. I mean, look, he's gonna pitch it differently. He's going to pretend that he's claiming victory or whatever. But he put out this statement on Truth Social saying that based on this meeting he had with the Secretary General of NATO, they formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and in fact the entire Arctic region. Basically saying that, yeah, they're getting Greenland or whatever, except that they're not getting Greenland. That's not what's happening, as has been pointed out by actual serious people, not Donald Trump, not Karoline Leavitt. Maggie Haberman acknowledged the deal that he is talking about is what we have right now. And I have repeatedly made clear on this show, we already can put 100,000 troops on Greenland if we want to. We have bases there now. We could have more bases. We could park F-22s. We could send Abrams tanks there. That was already the situation. This new deal allows us to do that same thing. And look, maybe it's a clever masterstroke on the part of these NATO leaders that they got Donald Trump to think that he won something when the status quo remains. But Tehran, like, I'm a little bit worried that in me mocking him for his fake deal, maybe he'll realize that he's not getting anything and push for more. But I don't know, what do you make of what will hopefully be the end of this whole Greenland thing?
Well, we're not close to getting Greenland. That is not the case here. What is the case is, even though it's 2026, it feels like George Orwell's 1984, because there was the decree that the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their last and final essential command. That is what the MAGA tribute has been, and it's going forward. That's where we're at. The 1951 Denmark deal, the 2009 deal, these are all still in place. We've just reverted. However, I will say one thing that all the watchers and viewers should know about me is that I'm fair. We have been trying to get Greenland for a very long time, and we're still trying to do that. The difference is now we're just gaslighting the public about it. We're just telling people we're so close when we haven't actually been further. In Europe, it's very unpopular. In Denmark, it's unpopular. In Greenland itself, it's very unpopular. In the United States, it's very unpopular. NATO isn't having it. Denmark isn't having it. Greenland isn't having it. So who's having this right now? No one. No one wants this. No one's pushing for this. Even the American people, where it would benefit us, we're not pushing it either. So please tell me how close we are. Please, someone give me some indication, and why President Trump has an amazing ability to restate the already stated, which means he takes credit for a lot of propositions that are already in place, and then just gets that exact same deal and then goes, look at what I did, people. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I guess that's preferable to conquest. It's preferable to the breakup of NATO, I guess. It seems like deeply sad.
I mean, if that's the line, John, where we're like it's preferable to conquest, military action, and breaking up NATO, then we also have a bigger problem than I thought.
Yeah, and look, as you point out, it's wildly unpopular. We don't hear, we don't want to conquer it, we don't want to do that. It's wildly unpopular there, and I wish, like you could force the Republicans who claim to really want this and claim that this is something they wanted before Donald Trump started talking about it. Why do you think the people of Greenland don't want to join us? I mean, you're saying that we're so strong. I mean, our economy is undoubtedly amazing. Oh, we're the superpower of the world. Why is it that they don't want to be a part of us? I mean, there are material reasons. They have access to social services there that we don't have. That it would be the envy of a lot of Americans. And so it actually means something. But you also pointed out the command to deny the evidence of your eyes and ears and everything. Like that's a near constant. It was on display in Donald Trump's speech at Davos. The economy is actually doing great. Forget about the fact that you're not doing great. The future looks grim. No, you're actually doing well. And by the way, the last time you filled up your tank, gas was $1.99. I don't care what you think you paid. You paid $1.99. I mean, this is madness. And I don't wish this on anyone. I wasn't like a big fan of Biden or whatever, but I wasn't forced to pretend anything about America and the state of America under Biden, but that is just a constant here as the failures crop up. And the ability to deny what should be undeniable is actually one of Karoline Leavitt's skills. So let's turn to an even more obvious example of that. Coming out of Donald Trump's speech at Davos, he had a little bit of a mental flub. His old man brain was on display because although it was Greenland that he's trying to conquer, he kept calling it Iceland over and over and over again. And that's not the first time that he's done that. That does not look good for Donald Trump. It doesn't look good for MAGA when they were talking about how Joe Biden's brains are falling apart for a couple of years.
You know what TYT has always been about? Taking on the corrupt, greedy establishment. For us, it's the corporate media. We've been fighting that fight for over 20 years. For the cell phone industry, it's the same story. A handful of massive corporations ripping you off. That's why we're partnering with Noble Mobile. They're the only wireless company with the same mission as ours, to fight back. Their Noble plan offers unlimited data for just $50 a month. But here's the best part. For any data that you don't use, you get cash back. Real money you can spend however you want. Stop letting your unused data pad the pockets of billionaires. With Noble, you take control over your data. And by switching to Noble, you're directly supporting TYT in our mission of bringing you honest, independent news. So give Noble a try and make the switch today. Scan the QR code on the screen now or visit go.tyt.com/plan. That's go.tyt.com/plan.
And so Karoline Leavitt is going to jump to Donald Trump's defense to try to muddy the waters around it. So she responded to a tweet by Libby Dean where he acknowledges we've already shown it on video that Trump mixed up Iceland and Greenland. And Karoline Leavitt says, no, he didn't, Libby. And she changes the spelling of her name, I guess to imply that she's liberal. Got her, I guess. Anyway, his written remarks refer to Greenland as a piece of ice because that's what it is. You're the only one mixing anything up. That is, I almost want to clap for that because that is such a ridiculous cover up. When we say he's mixing up Greenland and Iceland, we're not referencing when he called it a piece of ice. We're referencing when he called it Iceland, as you will see in this reminder video.
They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland. So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money.
There were no edits there. That was just over and over. He kept saying it. And I'm sure the people in the room were a little bit confused about it. And so look, in the grand scheme of things, Tehran, I'm sure compared to the breakup of NATO, the future of Greenland, him mixing this up, I guess, doesn't matter. I just kind of wish that they could ever acknowledge a mistake he had made, a small one, a big one. I don't think it's mature. I don't think it's admirable. I don't think it's masculine to be completely unwilling to accept your failures or your mistakes. And so I don't like seeing these very obvious examples of it. But what do you think?
Well, first of all, John, let me just say, we were never meant to talk about Greenland this much ever. Greenland has become the Kardashian of countries and Trump is Ray J. Like, let it go, bro. But now you're confusing it with Iceland and you said it doesn't matter, John. When I say it does very much matter because President Trump could say, hey, Army, go attack Iceland, and they would just do it. That's the thing. Karen Leavitt should have referred to Trump's brain as that piece of ice, because everything keeps slipping his mind. And when it came to Biden, of course, we were able to definitely criticize that, and we should be able to with whoever's in power. This is another clear case of gaslighting, but more importantly, there is a problem, and it's because there's two things. Either she believes it was on purpose, which is a problem, or more importantly, she knows that she's lying. Either way, it's an indicator of this MAGA cult in which there is undying loyalty. I wish I could find a girl who's as loyal to me as a MAGA person is loyal to President Trump.
Yeah, like, this is, I guess, an example of why I'm fundamentally not cut out for this. And I know that I'm gonna come off, and anybody who agrees with me is gonna come off as like very like naive and everything. But it is absolutely wild to me to just lie like that. I would never do that. Like, obviously he made the mistake. It's like, why not just say, hey, Libby, it was a slip of the tongue. Let's not get hung up on, do that. I mean, I don't think it was a slip of the tongue, and he didn't catch it even after saying it multiple times, but do not pretend that he didn't do it. It is just so wild to me that these full grown people, full adult men and women, will just lie on his behalf. And it is a strange life from my perspective. That it's not just a thing that she did, and that lots of them do. Mike Johnson, when he's asked in Congress about something Trump said, he has to pretend he didn't read it or whatever. But that Karoline Leavitt, it's her whole job is to tell these sorts of lies, to pretend that, oh yeah, no, the economy's doing totally well, and I really think that. Oh yeah, no, the world totally respects Donald Trump. They're not laughing at him or anything. It is a very strange job. And in that, she's not that unique. Jen Psaki had to do a good bit of that. Karine Jean-Pierre had to do some of that. Not as wildly as Karoline Leavitt is, but it's a very weird job, and I don't wish it on most people.